Hi, my name is Michael.G, and today we have another video. And this video is about what in Exodus 3:14 Moses didn't know how to refer to God when he was going to talk to the sons of Israel before the Exodus. So God saith unto Moses, this is Exodus 3:14. And by the way, I'm the only Bible that you hear me reference is the Young's Literal Translation, YLT. So all my biblical references are the YLT. So Exodus 3:14, and God saith unto Moses, I am that which I am. He saith also, thus dost thou say to the sons of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. Now, in this, God is saying that he's the I am. And I'm not sure how you understand how that has been taught to you, whether it be churches or pastors or those big box churches with everybody going in there. But once we understand that we are in the image of God, okay, the image of God, the man and woman together, and you saw how it was very easy to see that it's space and time, and how the attributes of space directly identify with the masculine, and the attributes of time identify with the feminine. Now, this is not just in us talking about the human body, which we'll just use this body really quick. So, when the head is unified with the body and the light can travel, you are now in the Garden of Eden again. But now you have right to the tree of life, because now you have the light in the present now. So when we look at the word I is an identity. Am is a state of being. So when you're telling somebody, I am hungry, the identity and the state of being tied into whatever is in view. But when you just have I am, you're talking about identity and state of being. So God is identity and state of being. The I is very interesting when you tie it into the distorted understanding of man in, like, let's say, the narcissist or psychopath. This I is overinflated. And these people use the word I excessively. They can't say a sentence without saying it 10 times. In their mind, they think they're the I. However, they're not feeding on their own body, they're feeding on another person's body, and they have to maintain lies to keep that head structure. That's why these people are very fearful what you say to them, and they can be very twitchy. If you say something to them, they can instantly bark, because they have to maintain that massive head structure. So in the I am of God, we're talking about the I am unified in the truth, in the alignment of space and time. The identity and am, state of being. Now, if you look at the name Jesus comes from, there's the Latin word for translation from Iosius, and that's the translation from the Hebrew word, ancient Hebrew, which is Yeshua, or Joshua. And Joshua means salvations of Jehovah. And Jehovah, or Yahweh, which is the name of God that you've heard before, if you break that down, you get to be, state of being, the existing one. The Bible talks about the existing one. So all eternity is tied into the existence, this time. So the I am of God is literally space and time together in one body, in light. And we also read in the Bible, John, when Jesus said to the Jews, he called them, at that time he called those Pharisees at let's go to 8:42. And Jesus saith unto them, if God were your father, ye were loving me, for I came forth from God, and am come, for neither have I come of myself, but he sent me. And then further down in 8:58, you see Jesus said to them, verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham's coming, I am. You see, when you get into really understanding salvation, it's not of your will. This happened outside your will. And since it happened outside your will, you heard about you have to experience the first death. Well, that's the death of the old man. And then the new man is the man in the light. And the Bible talks about this all over the place. I mean, this is not a one-line type answer. Even Israel's name was changed from Jacob because the old identity died. And when you do die and you have the new identity, you are unified in the I am. Okay? Space and time together, and light can travel. So when Jesus said he's the I am, it will be equally, it will be the same for all those that come after him, or not even after, because remember, he's from eternity past, so his power actually worked even before in the Old Testament, before his birth. But let's just talk about today. Once you have your alignment with the proper space-time, your light is truth, no more darkness. And that's why the lies are so important. And it's so funny, the reasons people lie are ridiculous. And every time someone is lying, they are separating themselves from consciousness of now. They are augmenting. They're either going higher in the fake identity, now being fueled by darkness, or they're distorting their time. Okay? And they'll do little lies too. And, someone will pass it off and say, oh, it's just a little lie. Well, you know what? Try not to put yourself in a position where you're lying, and you'll see your life will change. You'll have better responsibility. You'll start to see things differently. And some people can be so far gone that, you can't even, I don't know. You're not going to watch that video if you're that person. If you're far gone, you're not here. Because in my understanding, as you understand this, it's because you're like-minded, like-souled. Your spirit is maybe working in this direction. Maybe it hasn't happened fully for you, but it's heading in this direction, because you can't sit through these videos without being enraged if you are not part of the light. But the I am is very hard to deny at this point. As God said, I am that which I am. Now the I am makes a lot more sense. He is the identity and state of being, the existing state of being. That's why when you become unified in your body with the space and time, your past starts to make sense. You actually relive your past. And when you relive the past, you can see your participation, why it happened, where maybe things happened in your life that blocked you. I see all these, like I said in the past, therapists, they want you to cry. Crying is not going to give you the answer. That's not it. It sounds like you're connecting to emotion, but you're just connecting to emotion, but you're not going to stay there. What good is crying if you're not going to stay there? Our videos are designed so that your body will be unified And as this progression happens, you will start to notice things changing in your life. And it's not hocus pocus. I mean, it's pretty simple to understand that when you're lying, you must do bad behavior, and it pushes the head upward. And then the other half of it is when you're saying yes to the head, when you mean no, you're pushing downward. And here's some funny science stuff, which I think might be interesting, because I watch videos on science every now and then, and one of those science people, he's a cosmologist, so he deals in space really big. So if he's dealing in space really big, we got some surprise for him. One of the things that he says is that there's a distant galaxies, okay? Distant galaxies, and we are, let's say, here. Now, this is not with our space-time, but let's just say distant galaxies. As the dark matter between these two galaxies grow, because it's some sort of reverse gravity, I mean, we understand what it is in the body. This dark energy now is because of bad behavior, lying, and as that happens, there'll come a point where the space between the distant galaxies and, let's say, us will expand at a certain rate faster than light can travel. So light now for the distant galaxies will cease. We will no longer be able to see that. And actually, the funny thing is, his name was Lawrence Krauss. He says when that happens, we will be alone, ignorant, and dominant. Now, he made this as a joke. His name is Lawrence Krauss. You'll find the videos if you look for it. He's talking about the expansion of space, where the distant stars disappear. Now, the distant stars, you can say in our understanding, is what's in your torso, because your past is in your torso. That's infinity. From the torso, the woman, everybody came from the torso, but the heads are different. That's why you have a first name, which identifies your today, and your last name, which identifies your history. So as the galaxies, I actually drew this backwards, as the galaxies get further away and the light can't travel fast enough to go to see, so we could see it in this galaxy, he says we will be alone, ignorant, and dominant. Look at that. It's the same thing. And this is why the truth of everything is a consciousness, because they're talking about things in space or whatever these cosmologists coming up to, but they don't realize that they're saying the same exact thing that we're saying about the dark, and they even call it dark energy. They call it dark energy. I mean, we know it's darkness, and they call it dark energy. Alone, ignorant, and dominant. There's a very big there are huge implications to the truth of everything, and once you apply it to different realms. It works in psychology, it's working in science, it's working in religion. The next video I'm probably going to do is on all the religions and how they identify with the head and the torso, and then you'll see which ones identify with which. That one might be a more broader than just the religions. But the religions the ones that are they're manufactured by man, except for the Bible. And I'm not even talking about Catholics and Christians. You could profess you're a Christian or a Catholic, and the second the question comes up, well, how did you believe? And then they say they made a decision. They made a decision in the head. So once someone says that they made a decision, that means they became an I do. They become an I do. So if they become I do, you see what a difference that is from I am. I do. And what does I do? You make a work, you follow the laws, and you choose. If you're working, following the laws, or choosing, you're I do. And the funny thing is that the Bible actually says to beware of idols. Look at that. I do is right in the middle of the word idol. I do. So there is a big difference between I do and I am. When Jesus did say that in John 8:58, that before Abraham's coming, I am, in that moment, in John 8:59, they took up therefore stones that they may cast at him. But Jesus hid himself and went forth out of the temple, going through the midst of them, and so passed by. They wanted to stone him because he said that he's the I am. When you're getting into the unified body with the light, you are the identity and existing, or the identity and being that God said that we would be brothers of Christ. We are brothers. So it's same Father. So that's why when Jesus said I am, they were mad, because they only understand from the identity of I do, not I am. Identity, state of being. This one's I'm going to kind of end it here on this one. I want you to think on it, yourselves, and read the verses. It's John 8:58. Actually, the entire exchange of John 8 is pretty powerful. They were going to stone a woman because she was adulterous, and actually all of John 8 is good. And then there's also the Exodus 3, when Moses first meets the burning, when the burning bush appears that is not consumed, and then he says a little further down to say that I am that which I am. So the identity and eternity, I am, is probably more accurately represented this way. Whereas you have your head and your torso, well, not the best drawing, your head and the torso existing, the identity is in space. And beside that, I had done another video a while back on the word I in the Bible, whereas EYE equals I. And the reason why is because you have brain matter actually inside your eye. And it talks about, behold, about the mote in thy brother's eye. So when you hear about it, the wicked guy is talking about the mote in thy brother's eye. And the reality is, you have to get that beam out of your eye. So if we were to look at this literally, what kind of beam would you have in your eye? Would it look something like this? Like that? No. However, if your eye identity has a beam, then this person, being the rich man now, would look down upon this guy whose eye is a speck, diminutive. There's a lot to this, and it's very, very far-reaching. So, God willing, that you get closer to the light, to the truth, unified in your body, and then you could see the scriptures open up to you. Because once you get this, it's unlimited the amount of information that the Bible discusses. again, another video I did on, what's easier to get into heaven. It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of the needle. See the eye again? The identity, same word, than it is for a rich man. How can the rich man with a huge identity be governed? He can't be. Because they think they're the control. And that's another point, that the person that chooses, if you're choosing, following the laws by your will, and you're doing works, you are not in the I am, you are in the I do. I hope this video was inspiring, and God bless.